10 tails. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Wait, shouldn't we start with the 1 tail? And you're right, normally I would. But let's start with the 10 tails, because honestly, it's the origin of all the tailed beasts. The 10 tails isn't just some huge monster. It's literally the source of all chakra in Naruto world. Unlike the other tailed beasts, which all have personalities and emotions, the 10 tails is more like a cold, heartless weapon of mass destruction. It doesn't have a soul. It doesn't have a goal. It's made by combining the chakra of all 9-tailed beasts. That's why its power is absolutely insane. Its tailed beast bomb can totally erase a mountain range in just one blast, and it can fire again almost immediately. No cooldown, and even worse, just one roar from this thing can literally cause an earthquake, a tornado, and a flood at the same time. We're talking about a power level so ridiculous, even the entire Shinobi Alliance, with tens of thousands of ninja, had to pull together just to, yeah, I have to say, stay alive. Seriously, this beast is seen as the beginning of everything. Its power is so overwhelming that even its husk, not the chakra, just husk, could probably wipe out half the ninja world. So yeah, if it ever comes back, it's the end of humanity. Well, the 10 tails is sealed inside a Jinchuriki, and when that Jinchuriki dies, the beast is reborn. Knowing that, Hagoromo, the original Jinchuriki, split the 10 tails into the 9-tailed beasts we know today, trying to break that godlike power into smaller pieces. Pieces that could learn to be human. Now then, let's move on to the very first tailed beast. Now, if you've made it this far, welcome to the amazing world of anime. This is the place for true fans like you, where we celebrate all the magic, action, and emotions anime brings to our lives. You've watched, you've felt the hype, you've been lost in these beautiful fantasy worlds, but, have you hit that subscribe button yet? Right now, almost 90% of you are watching without subscribing. Just imagine, if everyone hit sub, we could build one of the strongest anime communities out there. So go ahead, click that subscribe button right now so you won't miss any new episodes, deep dive breakdowns, or awesome anime content coming your way. Thank you so much. Now next on the list, just a little bit higher, is Shukaku. Alright, Shukaku of the Sand. Shukaku has a very special power that makes him stand out from the other tailed beasts. He can use Magnet Release, which is a rare Kekkei Genkai created by combining wind and earth styles. Shukaku's sand is also enhanced with Cursed Seals, which gives it a magnetic field. That means he can move every single grain exactly how he wants. Thanks to Magnet Release, Shukaku fights like a genius tactician. Most tailed beasts just rely on raw power and basic element attacks, but Shukaku fights smart. His sand can become a shield, a giant hand, or even a trap to capture enemies. It's a lot like the iron sand used by the third Kazekage. One of Shukaku's signature moves is the Desert Layered Seals. This technique uses cursed markings carved into the sand to create super strong bindings. It was even strong enough to hold down Edo Madara for a short time. Yeah, even Madara had to bust out Susanoo to break free. Another big move is the air bullet. Shukaku compresses air into high-speed projectiles that can flatten an entire forest. And when he mixes those bullets with sand, they become even deadlier, turning into sharp, high-impact attacks. Now, let's talk about Bunpuku, the first known Jinchuriki of Shukaku. He was a monk from the Sand Village, and probably the only person who ever treated Shukaku like an equal friend. Bunpuku's kindness and compassion left a rare positive memory in Shukaku's heart, which really means something, because most tailed beasts have suffered horribly from humans. That mutual respect between Bunpuku and Shukaku laid the groundwork for Shukaku to eventually team up with Gaara and even Naruto later on. Here's something interesting. Gaara's sand defense doesn't come only from Shukaku. It's actually a mix of Shukaku's power and the love of his mother, Kurama. That's why Gaara can still use his sand even after Shukaku was removed from his body. In fact, a lot of people still thought Gaara was the one-tailed Jinchuriki, even after the beast was gone. During the Chunin exams, we saw Shukaku's power for the first time. Gaara partially transformed, growing a giant tanuki arm and tail. That power was so overwhelming that Sasuke had to use Chidori, and even that wasn't enough to stop the full transformation. Later, in the Konoha Crush arc, we saw Shukaku in his full form, a massive tanuki that could easily destroy a whole forest. That was also the very first time we ever saw a tailed beast in full. One unique thing about Shukaku is that he kept a connection with Gaara even after being separated. Gaara can still use some of Shukaku's power, and they can still sense each other's presence. Matatabi. Alright, let's talk about the two-tailed beast, the giant fire cat. Matatabi uses fire style, and you can see that clearly from her appearance. Her body is literally covered in glowing blue and black flames, which makes her look totally unique compared to the other tailed beasts. She literally sparkles. Even though Matatabi is huge, she moves extremely fast and super smoothly, just like a real predator cat. Her flexible body gives her amazing speed and quick reflexes. While Kurama relies on brute force and Gyuki uses slick ink attacks, Matatabi focuses on quick, sharp, and deadly moves in close combat. She also has a crazy amount of chakra, which lets her pass energy to others and even heal injuries very quickly. Sounds familiar, right? Yeah, it looks like almost every tailed beast gives their Jinchuriki some kind of boosted healing ability. Of course, like all tailed beasts, Matatabi can fire a tailed beast bomb, a chakra blast with insane destructive power, but her main move is shooting out flexible fireballs. In battle, Matatabi combines physical strength with fire jutsu very effectively. She'll smash you with a massive claw and then immediately launch a giant fireball to finish you off. That said, compared to other tailed beasts, Matatabi doesn't really have any special named moves. Maybe that's because Kishimoto didn't spend much time developing her powers in the manga. As for her Jinchuriki, we only really know one, Yugito ni. She had Matatabi sealed inside her when she was just 2 years old. She grew up under the harsh training of the Hidden Cloud Village. But unlike Gaara, who lost control and turned violent, Yugito actually formed a strong bond with Matatabi. She could fully transform into Matatabi and stay in control, switching between human and beast freely. Matatabi's first real battle scene was when Yugito fought Haiden and Kakuzu. She fully transformed and fought fiercely in a closed space, which should have been perfect for a fire cat like her. But sadly, she got overwhelmed by those two Akatsuki immortals. Totally unfair matchup. Couldn't even show off properly before getting jumped by two undead weirdos. Isobu. Isobu looks like a giant turtle with 3 tails, and he's all about water-style jutsu. While most tailed beasts go crazy with brute force attacks, Isobu is basically a walking tank. His giant shell is super tough, almost like diamond. It can block nearly any attack, but he does have one weak spot, his eyes. Isobu's main power is controlling water. He can create massive tsunamis to flood the whole battlefield, or shoot out high-pressure water blasts that can literally break through thick stone walls. Even more interesting, he can make a special mist that causes hallucinations. This mist messes with his enemies' minds by bringing up their deepest fears, making them mentally weaker during the fight. That kind of psychological tactic is totally rare among the tailed beasts. Now let's talk about his Jinchuriki. Rin Nohara was one of them. The Mist Village forced Isobu into Rin's body to use her as a living weapon to destroy Konoha. But Rin chose to die to stop that plan, sacrificing herself for her village. Heartbreaking, but heroic. Later on, Yagura Karatachi, the 4th Mizukage, became Isobu's next Jinchuriki. He actually had a decent relationship with Isobu, but sadly, Obito put Yagura under a genjutsu and turned him into a cruel tyrant during the Bloody Mist Village era. Yeah, Obito strikes again. After Yagura's death, Isobu lived freely for a while in deep lakes in the Land of Water. That made him the only tailed beast who lived completely on his own for a long time. It really shows how independent and hard to control he is. Eventually, Deidara and Tobi captured him using those giant exploding clayfish. Son Goku. Son Goku looks like a giant red monkey with 4 powerful tails. He can mix fire style and earth style to create lava style, which is an extremely rare and super dangerous Kikei Genkai. This ability lets him create boiling lava that can melt rock and reshape the battlefield. He can even cause volcano eruptions to change the terrain completely. Yeah, he's basically nature's rage in monkey form. But Son Goku doesn't just fight like a beast, he's also a skilled taijutsu master, using calm and precise martial arts moves, like in Tai Chi. Despite being huge, he moves surprisingly fast, and he once kicked Gyuki down with a single hit. Seriously, he's scary both up close and at range. His name, Son Goku, is based on Sun Wukong from Journey to the West. And just like that mythic Monkey King, he's crazy proud of who he is. He's the only tailed beast who actually demands that people call him by his real name, not Four Tails. It shows his strong will and massive pride. Before he was sealed, Son Goku lived freely in nature, as the leader of a monkey clan in the Water Curtain Cave. Yup, straight up folklore nods there. His final Jinchuriki was Roshi, an old ninja from Iwagakure. At first, they didn't get along at all. Roshi was too proud and refused to respect Son Goku's name, which really pissed the monkey off. Roshi left his village to train and gain control over Son's power. But sadly, just before they could fully understand each other, Roshi was killed by the Akatsuki. Kokuo. Kokuo looks like a giant white horse with 5 long tails and a big horn on its head. It can mix fire style and water style to create boil release, or steam style. This ability lets Kokuo make super hot steam that boosts its physical strength like crazy. Instead of changing the battlefield like Isobu or Shukaku, Kokuo focuses completely on close-range fighting. Its horn becomes a deadly weapon. It once charged Gyuki so hard that it literally sent him flying. Its last Jinchuriki was Han, a ninja from Iwagakure. Han wore a special steam-powered armor, showing that he used boil release very effectively. Even though we don't know much about Han, his armor proves he had a strong bond with Kokuo and could use its power really well. After the war, Kokuo didn't go back to any village. Instead, it chose to live alone in a deep forest, far away from humans. This shows how independent and peaceful Kokuo is. Unlike Kurama, who stayed with Naruto, or Gyuki, who returned to his rapper BFF, Kokuo just wants to be left alone. One interesting fact: during the 4th Ninja War, when Tobi controlled all the tailed beasts, Kokuo was the only one who briefly broke free. It turned on the enemy for a moment, showing just how strong-willed and resilient it really is. Saiken. Saiken is a giant slug with 6 wiggly tails, and it fights in a completely different way from most other tailed beasts. Instead of smashing things with raw power, Saiken uses dangerous chemical attacks. It can release a super strong alkaline substance, either as slimy goo or toxic gas. This chemical is incredibly corrosive. It can melt through almost anything in seconds. Yeah, a bit like Lady Katsuo. In fact, during a fight, Might Guy had to use his peacock technique just to blow the toxic gas away. Yeah, it's that dangerous. Saiken also has a super weird and unique jutsu that only appeared in the anime: soap bubble jutsu. It creates soapy bubbles that look innocent, but they can actually trap, attack, or defend, depending on how Saiken uses them. And on top of that, Saiken can also shoot sticky slime to catch and slow down enemies. This makes it really tricky and unpredictable in a fight. Now, let's talk about Saiken's Jinchuriki, Utakara. His story is honestly one of the saddest in the entire Naruto series. Utakata's master, Harusame, tried to save him by removing Saiken, but instead, it caused Utakata to lose control and accidentally kill the very person he cared about most. It's a totally heartbreaking twist. Chomei. Chomei is totally unique among the tailed beasts. Instead of using fire, water, or steam like the others, Chomei uses insect-based powers. It looks like a giant flying beetle with see-through wings, and it can fly super high and super fast. This gives it a huge advantage over most of the other beasts that can only move on the ground. Only Gyuki can sort of keep up by swinging around with his tentacles. Also, since Chomei can fly, it lets its Jinchuriki use partial transformations to fly too, which is honestly a huge privilege in the Naruto world. Flight ain't cheap here. Chomei's powers focus on aerial attacks and confusion tactics. Its wings can release blinding powder, just like real bugs do in nature. This powder messes with the enemy's vision and creates an opening to strike. Chomei used this exact move against Naruto and Kurama. And yeah, it was seriously tricky to deal with. In the anime, Chomei also has a chakra cocoon technique that it can use to defend itself. This is especially useful against chakra-absorbing enemies like Hoichi. And of course, like all the other beasts, it can create the Biju Dama, that crazy destructive chakra bomb. Fu, a cheerful and optimistic girl from Takigakure, is its Jinchuriki. She stayed super upbeat and lively, even with a tailed beast inside her. But sadly, the people in her village still treated her like an outcast, just like most Jinchuriki. Eventually, Fu was captured by Kakuzu and Haiden from the Akatsuki. They pulled Chomei out of her body, which tragically led to her death. Gyuki. Gyuki is one of the strongest and smartest of all the tailed beasts. It has a huge amount of chakra, second only to Kurama. It's also incredibly smart in battle. It can quickly analyze fights, give strategy tips, and help its Jinchuriki make the right moves. Gyuki looks like a giant ox with tentacles, kind of like a mix between a bull and a squid. Because of that, it can use black ink attacks, blinding enemies by spraying them in the face. It can also create clones using just one of its tentacles, which is super useful in tricky fights. Its physical strength is absolutely wild. Gyuki fought the Third Raikage and held its own, and that guy was one of the strongest ninja ever. Even when one of its tentacles gets cut off, it can quickly grow it back, which makes it really hard to beat. Plus, its sharp horns are deadly weapons. They can pierce through most defenses with no problem. Of course, like all Biju, Gyuki can use the tailed beast bomb, but Gyuki's version is especially powerful. It can fire multiple blasts in a row or charge up a massive one-shot nuke. In the war, it even pushed back a tailed beast bomb from the Ten Tails, which is insanely impressive. Its 8 tentacles aren't just for show either. They're super flexible and can spin around like a tornado to crush the battlefield. And when defending, Gyuki wraps them around itself to make a living shield. This makes it totally unpredictable, since it can switch between offense and defense anytime. Its most successful Jinchuriki is Killer Bee, and man, their bond is legendary. But things didn't start easy. Bee got Gyuki sealed into him when he was only 5, using a powerful seal called the Iron Armor Seal. The turning point came at the Falls of Truth, where Bee beat Gyuki in a mental battle and earned its respect. From then on, they became not just partners, but real friends. Before Bee, there was another Jinchuriki named Blue Bee. Gyuki actually liked him and hoped they'd work well together. But Orochimaru messed things up, causing Blue Bee to lose control and go on a rampage. Sadly, Gyuki's past Jinchuriki couldn't handle its power, and a lot of people, including Blue Bee's uncle and dad, died because of those outbursts. This turned Gyuki into a feared and tragic figure in the hidden cloud. That all changed with Killer Bee, the loud, rapping ninja who finally understood Gyuki. During the Fourth Great Ninja War, Gyuki truly shined. It taught Naruto about the pain of the tailed beasts and helped him understand their feelings. At one point, Gyuki even shoved its head inside the Ten Tails' mouth and blasted it from the inside. Absolutely fearless. And when the Akatsuki ripped Gyuki out of Bee, it left one tentacle behind to keep Bee alive. That's how much it cared. Kurama. Ah yes, now Kurama, the giant, super powerful, totally iconic nine-tailed fox. Kurama has the most chakra out of all the tailed beasts. Seriously, it had enough chakra to power up the entire allied shinobi army and still have energy left to fight. Unlike other Biju that use special elements, like Saiken using water or Kokuo using steam, Kurama doesn't need any of that. It relies on pure chakra power, and it hits crazy hard. Yeah, it can literally throw another tailed beast across the battlefield like it's nothing. Kurama can also sense negative emotions from super far away. This makes it like a living radar, picking up danger before it even gets close. Especially, Kurama is also a sage. It can collect natural energy and turn it into sage chakra, something only the strongest creatures in the Naruto world can do. Its healing is ridiculously fast. Even after getting hurt badly, Kurama can recover in a short time. And of course, we gotta talk about the tailed beast bomb. Kurama's version is the strongest one of them all, a pure, devastating explosion of energy. One of these could level an entire area. People often think the more tails, the stronger the beast. But that's not 100% true. Yeah, Shukaku disagrees with that idea, of course. But when it comes to raw power, Kurama and Gyuki are definitely the top two. And here's the twist. Everything we've talked about so far, that was just half of Kurama. Yep, just one half of the fox could already fight off monsters. Kurama's story starts way back when Mito Uzumaki became its first Jinchuriki. After Hashirama defeated Madara, Mito used the super strong chakra and willpower of the Uzumaki clan to seal Kurama inside herself. Then came Kushina Uzumaki, Naruto's mom. She inherited Kurama but had to constantly resist its hatred and pressure. And then our boy Naruto Uzumaki stepped in and changed everything. Instead of trying to control Kurama with force, Naruto chose to understand it and forgive it. That kindness changed Kurama forever. They became true partners, and that bond helped save the entire world. In the Boruto era, we now have Himawari Uzumaki, Naruto's daughter, who seems to be bonding with Kurama even more naturally. She doesn't have to struggle like Naruto did. Maybe that's because she grew up with her dad's warmth and Kurama's softer side. Her connection with Kurama opens up so many cool possibilities for the future. Well, Kurama also has a funny, sarcastic personality. He once teased Naruto about kissing Sasuke, and he literally flipped the middle finger in the middle of the Fourth Ninja War. Yeah, we're talking about a complicated soul here. Alright, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.